Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly shop steward today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's outstanding fantasy RPG Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and we are using that to play a campaign in our own custom setting of the Spires of Paridar, a setting of occult conspiracy, industrial progress, and class disparity. And with me today are the stars of the Spires of Paridar campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Darren.
Hello there, I'm Darren. I'm playing Dr. Adam Ursprung, who is a created flesh warp. He's an inventor, and as always, he's got his trusty sidekick. I'm going to say Mark V Igor.
That sounds about right. Next up is Ingolf.
Hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki detective. Some people call them red folk, but he wants to be called an Isoki.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Golag, son of Doc. He is an orc witch detective.
Very nice. So this is part 5 of our current mystery, Guile of the Gaslight Man. And what has happened... I guess I should say at the time of recording, we're just coming back. I had my vacation 2 weeks ago. So it's been about a month since we played last. And one of our players is away for a wedding this session. So we are down one of our illuminators. But what happened thus far, guys?
Yeah, how did it start off?
We were at the, I think at the painting studio, I believe we started.
For last session, yeah.
Last session, yeah. Yeah, are we just recapping last session, or are we trying to get a overall?
Well, if you guys feel that you don't need to bring yourself up to speed on the overall adventure, but
the main point is we're investigating this Mr. Saxon, who's seemingly, he disappeared from this lady's, what's her name?
Yeah.
Got her name now.
Are you thinking of
Mrs.
Lady who came to us?
Is it Badwell?
Our client, right? Our client?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She came to us, didn't she, originally?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this Zane Saxon appeared out of nowhere, at least in her idea of reality, whatever that means. And so he wasn't there before, and then 2 weeks ago he suddenly appeared, or 4 weeks ago, and is now one of the partners in her brother's company.
Yep.
And her brother is Dr. Ransom Babwell. And there was a third partner who is dead, and the evidence, or the
Isabel Turner was the name of the wife, right? Because she's married to the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not her husband, but her brother. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
Anna agrees.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
She's a stickler for Paridar trivia.
Yeah. Who's married to whom is important. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah. So now we are missing Sally, because she would point out that. Yeah. So, yeah. And so in long story short, in a way, there are at least some things pointing to this Zane Saxon being the killer of the third partner. And we found that maybe Ransom Babwell was involved in some kind of ritual that, I don't know, somehow magicked Zane Saxon into existence.
Yeah, there's a concept that you met with one of your regular consulting experts, Professor Raleigh Galberry, and he told you about a theoretical construct or creation called a tulpa.
Yes. And this maybe the same Saxon is such a tulpa, but he also said it was impossible to create such a tulpa, which was then it seems possible. And what also made things worse in a way is that an old enemy of ours seems to be involved in the creation of said tulpa.
Yeah.
So there is Gwendolyn Fallow, who is a magic user who was also involved in the esoteric order of the Elder something, I don't know.
Endless Odyssey.
Endless Odyssey, yeah. And so she uses some kind of shadowy dark magic with this cult. It was about helping some spirits into the world from some other plane of existence, and we don't know, but she is somehow involved in what what this Dr. Ransom Babwell did. So we found letters between them, and we have that. So
yeah.
And then there's a totally different side story, maybe, or it is all connected and we don't see the connection about Golak and what's going on with him.
Yeah, we've taken his painting again to the university to be investigated. The painting that was made by, or painted by Miss King. So she's also definitely got some sort of magical thing going on with her. It's not something that the doctor's really up to speed on, but she's definitely using magic or got some sort of magic use, and she was speaking very strangely when we visited her. But at the end of the last session, Mr. Steele came along and has taken her away. So they obviously are investigating her as well. Maybe they think she's some sort of witch or using dark magic or something, because Mr. Steele, he works for... He's sort of like a monster hunter, isn't he? He's in a...
Yeah. He's a member of the Order of St. Sylvester.
Yeah.
Where you have an ally within there. This is Sir Barnabas Steele, who did come to see you a few days ago. But your ally is Sir Archibald Morgan. Archie. Though it seems like Archie, at least your contact, Professor Morris Watsonful, friend of Archie and what's her name? Daphne Lagrange. He hasn't seen him, Archie, in a while. He's not sure if he's on mission or he's gone missing or what's going on, but...
Yeah. How long has it been since he's been seen, did he say?
Archie, I think he said it was a couple of weeks. Which is not unheard of, but it's...
unusual.
Yeah, it is a long time. It is a long time for, on average, for him to be out of touch altogether. So... anything else we missed? Golag had a bit of a dark night of the soul as he was contemplating the blackouts that he, both literally and figuratively, that he had experienced while observing Ms. King's portraits, right? Oh, you might be muted again, Sean.
I don't know if I'd call them blackouts.
Timo?
Maybe reveries. Maybe lost in thought.
Is that how Dr. Earthsprung would characterize those supernatural phase? What is it, aphasia? Is that what?
I don't know what he'd call it. I don't know, but he was certainly not home for a good few minutes. Paralyzed almost. What the magical term for that is, he doesn't know.
There was something unusual about it that manifested in a physical symptom as well.
He lost his shadow temporarily. It seemed to almost be absorbed into the painting itself.
Yeah, his shadow and his tattoos were gone, leaving just the scarring behind. Anything else we missed from last time?
So where did we finish last time?
I believe you guys had landed on attempting to break into Mr. Saxon's home, and that's when you heard someone banging at the door. And
King.
Yeah.
Correct. And Mrs. King let you know that Sir Barnabas Steele had come by and taken Vesta into custody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a kind of unusual cliffhanger. Like, we never do those.
So unlike us as usual. So then we pick up with you guys at the door with Mrs. King. I'll move us over to the Illuminator's office. There we go. What do you guys do next?
So she's still with us.
Yes,
So,
she has just let you know that it was. They said someone named Steele, and you guys had prompted Barnabas Steele, and she had said, "Yes, you know him."
Yes, yeah.
But did she say what the reason was? What did they say specifically why she'd been taken?
We did not get to that yet.
Oh, okay.
Someone forced a cliffhanger before his vacation. I don't know who that was. Who could remember, you know? If only we had a video record of it. But let's not check that. So what what do you guys wish to do next?
Maybe ask her that very question. So did he say why and where he was taking her?
He said it was a murder.
A murder of whom?
He did not say. He said that he said that she was being taken in, and he provided a document to show that he had authority for it.
Curious.
Yeah, he might have.
She looks at you, go like, curious? This is the best you can say?
No,
Doctor, she is
Golak
clearly
meant,
on the verge of, you know.
Yeah. What Master Golak meant was that is curious how he could have the audacity to make such a claim.
Yes.
Yeah, we will try to find out and get her out as soon as possible. But we need to find out where she was taken before we can take any actions.
Her head kind of. Well, why don't you give us a diplomacy check? Let's get some dice rolling here.
Yeah, I will try.
I think Adam would go and grab her a drink, some sort of alcoholic drink to try and settle her nerves while this is going on. Doctor's orders.
So I guess this is related to our investigation.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Depending on what your investigation is, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
how her being arrested
I
for
would
murder.
say that I can have two. I can pursue two, but nevertheless, so then just subtract one. So it's just
Okay, so 24 is more than good enough. So she kind of calms down, and if you lead her in, she'll turn and place her hand on your shoulder, Golag, and say, "I'm sorry. I forgive my manners."
Oh, no worries. It's I'm sure I'd be in worse state than you, madam.
If you lead her into the study where drinks and whatnot will be, Dr. Ursprung comes back with a medicinal, shot of booze. She will take that, and once she, has her sip of whatever aperitif you've given her, she places it down, and she will fumble in her handbag. You can see, I think, Golag, you're probably the last one coming in. Outside, her carriage is stopped. And so she seems to have taken her own carriage here. Sobin closes the door, and she brings out the document that she says that Sir Barnabas provided to her.
Let's have a look.
So if you grab this thing and take a quick peek, any of you would... Actually, you haven't come across this before, have you? Any of the writs to seize suspects or seize people for evidence or investigation?
I mean, on camera, maybe not, but off camera, I'm sure.
I was going to say,
Once or twice.
what about when the doctor was taken into custody? Was there any sort of paperwork that time?
Were you taken into custody? But you were taken into custody by the
They sort of
constabulary.
knocked on the door, didn't they?
Yeah, that is a little different from. They have a badge and whatnot. This is.
All right, this is a private.
So anyone can give us a society, any lore relating to like bureaucracy or law or administration in Paridar that you think would be appropriate. So Golag, you see this, and this is, it is effectively, it seems that the Order of St. Sylvester has special dispensation from the Paridar government for exercising its own, investigations. You are aware of the Ministry of Internal Security. MIS has some similar types of like extrajudicial abilities or powers. It seems that the Order of St. Sylvester seems to have some as well. And there is only the briefest description of what she is being held for. It's something referencing her as a material witness to a series of murders. And I believe it is 4 murders. And not for nothing, you may remember when you met with, this is Basil and Dr. Ersprung, when you met with Sir Barnabas, he had mentioned he was investigating 4 murders that had a ritual nature to them.
I remember, yeah.
So if you both are, Basil probably can't, eavesdrop.
Yeah, but those murders were somehow connected to the vampiric serum, weren't they? Or was this a different strain?
There was actually 2 things he was investigating. One of them was in relation to the vampiric serum. The other thing, do you remember the images that he had shown you of the ritual victims who had similar markings to what Golag has in his tattoos?
Yes, I remember.
Those are the murders that he was investigating, and why he was glad that Golag was not on hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well. Oh, yes. And does this statement say where they brought her? Where they brought her?
It simply says that is taken in by the Order of St. Sylvester as a material witness.
So do we know where the Order of St. Sylvester has its headquarters or something like that?
I think you can give us a society check for that. You have not been there on screen for sure, but there's a chance that you've looked at that.
25.
You know where the Order of St. Sylvester is located, yeah. And it is sort of in the district of town where a lot of the oldest buildings and most important kind of heart of the Church of the Heavenly Host is located. Mm-hmm.
So it does say that she was wanted for, she was wanted as a material witness.
Correct, not a suspect.
So I will point that out to her. I say, Madam, it is important to note that she's not wanted as a suspect. She has just merely been brought in to ask questions to help in the matter of an investigation.
But they could just seize her like that?
Well, we'll see about that. But there is a large difference between a suspect and a witness. So we should be glad about that.
Yeah, and you would be familiar enough, Basil, with your role on the location of it. You would know as well that if they thought that she was a perpetrator of something, it's very likely that she would be, well, there's a good chance she would be dead, eliminated as a threat, or she would have been taken in much more aggressively.
Yes. Yeah. And I keep quiet and do not make any speculations that sometimes witnesses become suspects or something like that. I would not tell in that moment, which is
This is also
very inappropriate.
The seizure by the Order of St. Sylvester is not the same thing as with the constabulary. Your inherent rights that you have access to when you were arrested, Dr. Ursprung, not something that applies for the Order of St. Sylvester.
Yeah, I see. So, I would talk to the mother again. I think that is related to the things she had to endure when she was under the spell of that Augustus Thorngrove, and probably it is nothing. I mean, the way the Order of St. Sylvester is going to business here is not correct, but I think you don't need to worry about it. We can certainly fix it.
She looks at you, her eyes clearly, beat red from crying. Are you certain?
Barely, yeah.
She has been through so much already. To be put through more like this. She seems strong at times, but I sense it. She is still fragile. She is still healing.
We need to get to the bottom of this and find the missing person in the old case, and then I think everything will resolve very, very amicably, and there will be no harm to her. But you can look at it in another way. Maybe she's safer with the Order of Saint Sylvester than if she stayed in your house and this Gwendolyn fellow would attack her there or something like that.
I'll give us a diplomacy check. And that very well could improve her state of mind. The nat one, less so. Would you like to hero point that?
Yeah, I would try.
We are at noon, so my time, so everyone can get a hero point as well.
Yeah, 30 seems more like it.
All right, so she looks at you, and that would be a critical success on that. So she, all right. I will try not to worry then. And she's composing herself once again as a, kind of woman of means and standing. I'm very sorry for disturbing you at such an hour and in the state that I was in. And Mr. Golag, I'm very sorry to have raised my voice to you. It was unseemly and ill-deserved. Please.
The trouble at all.
Then, might I leave that with you? And she gestures to the note.
Yes, that'd be helpful.
Please get her back for me. Please. And she will leave. She's met by her servant outside, who helps her down the steps and back into her carriage. You guys can hear the rattling of the carriage outside as it goes away, leaving just the three of you. And Sovin comes back in. Any further visitors this evening, sir?
I didn't expect that one, Sylvan, so no expected visitors anyway.
After dinner prandials, or will you be having an evening constitutional?
I don't think we can stay here at the evening or even the night. I think we have a busy night's work before us.
And Basil, if you spare a look outside, you once again can see looming on the roof opposite you is the silhouette of Crucius Cain. Very good. I will prepare I will collect your overcoats. And he leaves the three of you to yourselves in your discussion.
Okay, so do we want to go to the Elder Order to the Order of St. Sylvester first? and then wait a little bit longer for the night to progress to get to the home of our Saxon Zane or Zane Saxon.
What time is it, Kevin?
It is after dinner. It is summertime, so it is still quite dark. It'll be a while before the shooting stars will be beginning. So you're probably maybe 2 hours off from sunset.
So was it Saxon's home we were going to try and break into, or the factory, or?
Yeah. Wait. So I think we need to. So we were told that if we wait too long, this tulpa will be somehow permanent in a way, like it will. Like it already changed reality, and it will get worse and worse in a way. So I think we don't have so much time to spend just to ignore him for the whole night.
Yeah, because we don't know how to reverse it yet, do we?
Yes,
We don't know how to. So
and I think we need to find Gwendolyn Fallow first.
I think she's the one
Yes.
that's helped them bring it in,
Yeah.
and would be the only one that would potentially be able to stop it or reverse it, maybe.
Yeah, and so there are two possible ways to get to her. Maybe there's something with Saxon Zane that might lead us to that direction, or there's something we could get from Bester King. But I'm not sure if we get information from her, how we could stop the Order of St. Sylvester getting the same information and just rushing and killing Gwendolyn Fallow, which might not help our case at all.
Well, it was Babwell that had actually communicated with her, wasn't it? That was the letter. Was with
Yeah. Okay.
Gwendolyn
So
and
we
Babwell.
well we could try to I mean we could even try to have a talk with Babwell in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's definitely the well, not more approachable, but he's probably more. You could probably negotiate with him better than Mr. Saxon.
Yeah, but I think he won't. I'm not sure how we can get him to talk, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, heavy-handed is not normally our method.
Yeah, and the other thing
Saxon
is
does
like
it.
we have this Crucius Cane and the other ones on our throat in a way, just waiting for us to do something about Babwell and the company. So that's probably not wise to go for him directly, or I don't know.
Well, I guess it's who do we think's the most? I think Gwendolyn Fallow is the most important person to find. But who
Yes.
did you ask the secret network to look into? I've forgotten. Who
Butcher
was
Street
that?
Irregulars.
Yeah, they were helping to keep the others off of us.
Yeah,
But didn't you go
yes,
far into
I
the
was.
Whisperers?
Yes, to whom? I don't know, but yeah, it might have been that I put some note in some place, and
What was that in reference to? I can't remember. Was
I
that?
think I wanted to know who's behind, who's giving this Zane his money, or who's he was behaving like there was some kind of some kind of organization behind him, and I was
Who's
hoping
his
to get
boss?
something,
Yeah.
get something out of that. So even though he did not exist maybe a couple of weeks before, he still might be only one in, I don't know. He was like a mob guy to me. He reminded me of some stories I heard about a certain kingpin, whatever that meant. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if we get information from them fast enough. So
so our list is Fallow, go see about
Miss King.
Vesta. Let's see, Mr. Babwell.
Well, I think my query is, who do we think is going to lead us to Fallow? Is it Saxon, or is it Babwell? Is it at their homes? Is it at the late night at their office? Does Babwell keep the office and his home separate? You know, don't get his family involved, so there's no point sort of spying on him at his home.
No, we did know that he wrote the letters in his home, so that already we do know.
Oh, was that the desk at his home?
Yes.
Where he kept the letter? That wasn't the office.
I'm fairly sure. Maybe I misremember, but I'm thinking that was the impression I had.
It was locked. It was a locked drawer. Was it the office? I can't remember.
His home office, yeah.
It was his home. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was where Mrs. Hunter got the letter in the first place. She was able to sneak in. She said she could only find the one given the time because they have, it's not her home, and she has several young nephews and nieces. So it's a busy house when she has the reason to be in there.
Yeah, and I think it was Mrs. Turner, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Wasn't it Mrs. Turner?
What did I say?
Mrs. Hunter, because...
Oh, yeah, sorry, Mrs. Turner, not Mrs. Hunter. Mrs. Hunter is the one who's trying to pair up Sally.
The captain's widow, yeah.
Yeah. James's love of Jane Austen, I think, is what comes through in Sally's backstory. So.
I don't know. I mean, as far as I am concerned, I would even believe that this very agency that is this IOU agency is also part of the tulpa business, and is also conjured just to make our life harder by this fellow. But I don't know.
So, of those different potential leads, which ones are places or people that you know you can find right now? Because that might help narrow things down. Be nice to chat with Gwendolyn Fallow, for instance, but I'm not sure you guys have any idea where she is.
No, that's the thing. We want to get to her, and then we have three options in a way, and I don't know. So I suppose that, Adam, you're of the opinion we should go and have Babwell.
Well, I think we know that he spoke to her and arranged something, possibly this summoning or ritual or whatever that created, if we're going with that theory, Zane Saxon. So would she still speak to him rather than, Saxon? Would we find more from Babwell than Saxon? That was just my only sort of thinking behind it.
Yeah, and his would not require a break-in, right? That's not our thinking. We were originally thinking break-in with Saxon, and with Babwell, it's more of a discussion.
Yeah, it's just last time, Basil, you followed him, and he just went back to his house, and we didn't really learn anything, did we? But maybe if we use the mechanical spy, we could listen in.
Yeah, we could try.
You mean Saxon?
It's either of them two. That's what I'm saying. I don't know which one to go for.
Do you want me to complicate things even more?
Yeah, go on.
Just this weird thought came to my mind. What if not Zaxxon Sane is a tulpa, but what if his sister is a tulpa?
Who's this? What, Saxon's sister?
No, this Turner woman.
Oh, the Turner woman.
Maybe she was not there, and so she has this weird thing where she can't really remember things, and
So she's the new person that's only been around for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and maybe it's just a complicated ruse to get us into trouble. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, who would devise such an evil plan? I mean,
I guess that would. I don't know if we've exactly inquired on that particular angle of what does the tulpa know? The tulpa itself. Is the tulpa self-aware? I don't recall any of us having that discussion.
Well, the tulpa is all sort of speculation, and no one really knows what one is and whether it's possible, and so it's all sort of ifs and buts and maybes, and this might happen. And
well, the worst thing with it is
Tilbury.
if it is successfully implemented, you would never know that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, would a tulpa begin an investigation into the tulpa? The question then would
Another
rise.
question might be something we've gone back to before when you guys are trying to piece together stuff. Cui bono? Who profits from
Yes.
it being either the Mr. Saxon as the tulpa or Mrs. Turner as the tulpa?
I'm thinking. So my theory is or was that this Dr. Ransom Babwell, he was trying to get rid of his original partner, and so he made this deal and he willed another partner into existence who got then rid of the other one. But then this plan spectacularly backfired because now he has a thing that might be even worse than before. But yeah. So I don't know, but I don't know if that motivation is somehow meaningful. But because if this tulpa thing is real, we don't know what the structure would have been without this Zane guy being there. So.
Well, potentially it was just the two of them before, wasn't it? Harrington and
Yes.
Babwell.
Yes, but we don't know how this Harrington was treating Babwell or how this all worked together or something like that.
Are we thinking that Babwell is responsible for Carrington's murder?
Yeah, because if he, or maybe not murder, but he certainly wanted to have another partner. Otherwise, why should he will this Zane person into existence?
What did Mrs. Turner tell you about Ransom and Carter's relationship beforehand? That may give you some insight as to how he may have felt, or at least from her perspective, how Babwell felt about Carter.
I think he was the mind, and the other one was more like the executive guy, and he had all the money. Wasn't it like that?
Correct.
So it's like this Tesla Edison situation in a way, no?
Although these ones were childhood friends as well.
Okay. Yeah, so there might be a motive, certainly.
And
it
in
could
the
be
alternative... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Darren. I keep talking over
Well,
you.
I was just going to say it could be as simple as he just wanted the business to grow. He wanted that strong partner. He wanted the other guy out of the picture, and it's gone a bit wrong. And this Zane Saxon is taken over more than he wanted, and it's not going quite to plan. But he don't know how to get rid of it, or none of them know how to get rid of it, and maybe it's just got out of hand.
Yeah, if we really believe that, then we could talk to Babwell and he will actually support us. If we are sure that this is the case, then it is in his interest to get rid of this tulpa thing. But if not, I mean, he's very afraid of it.
He's very afraid of Saxon, yeah.
Yes, we know, we don't know if that is a tulpa, but he's very afraid of Saxon. So if we could help him with it, then I'm certain he won't be against it. But
well, should we speak to him at his home and just say, I didn't like the way that Mr. Saxon was treated?
Yeah, and the problem is, I think he will be watched. So, like the IOU, they keep watch on us, and they will keep watch on him.
Would Dr. Ursprung, would you give us a perception check as well, please?
Okay.
DC here would be 20. Oh, right. Yeah, I was saying 25, so you're good. So something that, because it was you and Ms. Dumer who met with Dr. Babwell last time.
Yep.
You guys went into the meeting, and you remember that it was interrupted, right?
Yeah, Mr. Saxon, yeah.
Do you remember Mr. Saxon spending any time getting acquainted to, like, what do you want, why are you here? Or did he launch into an attack right away?
It was... I can't remember if he asked anything, but, I mean, he definitely went full attack.
I want to say you told us he didn't ask anything. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't remember if he asked one question, like, what are you doing here? Get out, sort of thing, or if he went straight in. I think he went straight into an attack.
That's kind of curious, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, like you were not allowed to talk to him directly.
More to the point that he seemed to be aware of everything that had happened. Otherwise, picture yourself walking into a room like, who are these people? What are you doing here? Why are you talking to him? Get the fuck out. That, in your recollection, that's not what happened, is it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've got... There's no connection between a tulpa and someone else who summoned them or anything, is there? Like, they wouldn't be able to...
They are a creation of their will and their concentration and ritual.
I'm just wondering if Babwell did create him, maybe he can sort of hear what's going on
and that would
heard it.
And then the other thing is maybe, I mean, as far as we know, he did not create him on his own.
Yeah.
So if there is something from Gwendolyn Fellow in this Saxon Zane, then Zane Saxon, then I'm pretty sure that she would kind of brief him against us in a way. So, I mean, we don't know about this IOU folk. Were they investigating us before?
No,
and they told us after, so...
No, because you saw one of them come out of the factory, didn't you? And that's when we found out that they'd been hired to investigate us. Or was it Sally? It might have been Sally. Sally or Basil, I think, was spying on the factory, and you saw the leader of the IOU come out after a meeting.
When Zane Saxon was in there, yeah.
Yeah, with Zane Saxon or Babwell.
Yeah, but he might have hired them before even. Oh, we don't know.
Well,
but they
came and told us, didn't she?
Yeah.
It seems likely that was the, I mean, maybe, but it seems that the timeline is that they had that nighttime meeting, and then she almost immediately came to us and informed us that she'd been hired. So it seems likely that's the timeline.
So I guess the danger then is if we speak to Babwell, we could be telling Saxon at the same time, potentially, if they are somehow linked. If he can hear what he's saying or his thoughts.
You're thinking that's the explanation for
Saxon coming straight into the meeting, knowing what it was all about and starting to break it up. It's almost like he was spying on us.
Yeah, or maybe he was spying on Babwell, like he had like something like my clockwork spy in Babel's office.
Yeah, it could be a
More mundane
device.
explanation.
Yeah, could be a device type thing.
Yeah. So
Keystroke logger.
Yeah, just let's I don't know. I mean, it might make sense to talk to Bagwell, but then we need some kind of lengthy diversion to get to him, I suppose.
Shake our tail as usual.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem to make sense. I think to talk to Babwell, it seems the whole connection between him and Saxon is speculative. It's possible, but I'm not sure it should prevent us from having a conversation. I don't know.
Well, we have a connection between Babwell and Fallow, and so he might know where we can find her. That's already enough to talk to him.
Yeah, and it'd be useful to, like, I think, stir that, to kind of beat the bush there, to, like, maybe drop the word tulpa and get his reaction, and, you know, that kind of thing. Like, let's stir that pot.
I think you mean like investigators? Oh, that is like a very, very ingenious idea. Yeah. So, but you know, I feel like watched all the time, and maybe I'll peek out and look at where Crucius Kane hides.
Well, let's go for Babwell. Let's try and get a conversation with him.
Do we want us? Do we want to try to fool Crucius Kane again? Or do we want to talk to him?
I mean, I'm happy to go to the Saint Sylvester place and see if I can find out what's happening with Vesta King. Do you think he would follow me? Or do you think there's multiple IOU sort of guys watching?
I don't know.
If you and Golag wanted to try and speak to Babwell. I mean, you could find out.
Golag, could you get your shadow to get near to where Crucius Kane is?
Sure.
So that,
just to see if he's alone, you mean?
Yeah, and to see whether if Golag, if Adam goes out, whether he follows him.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that is.
What is your shadow's stealth bonus? I think there's some special ability it has for hiding in at night.
Slink in shadows. Let's see if this is going to put. There it is. Shadow step.
This teleportation. I'm just looking up the. Yeah, otherwise I think it's just your stealth bonus. What is a stealth bonus?
Appears to be. It's a stealth 13.
Plus 13, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just double check. I gotta grab another book. One sec. Ooh. It's been a while since we've had to look anything up. At least in books beyond the the core books. All right, familiars. Where are you here? Here we go, 229. All right. Shadow familiar. Become shadow. Hide. I just wanted to see if it has a bonus to its skill beyond just training. Does not seem to. Okay. All right. So plus 13. All right.
Okay.
So what do you... oh, no, actually, this is a secret roll.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you're not going to know whether it was successful or not.
Well, that's good. Never mind about that 15.
You're assuming that's better than or worse than what I rolled. What does it look like as you unleash your shadow familiar?
I think he, kind of fades off me and then maybe slips in the window, slips through the little window crack.
Yeah.
And out into the night.
What time of are you waiting until evening then, guys? You waiting a couple of hours until it's night, or are you doing this while it's still dusk?
Well, that's true. On the one hand, I think it's better for this pre-task. On the other hand, I don't know if it makes any difference of meeting with Babwell at what hour. That he'll see us, that he'll take our audience. But it's not the middle of the night. In either case, it's not the middle of the night. So maybe we wait till darkness. Yes. What do you think?
Yes.
At least just do some kind of twilight. I think that's enough.
Just as it's starting to get dark. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will grant a little bit of a bonus as well, because you will be able to hide in
shadow.
Yeah. Then what you find is, Golag, when this thing flits its way up the side of the building, and I'm assuming your eyes are becoming pitch black as you share your your senses with it, what you see is atop the roof, there is, of course, Crucius Cane, and there is Mr. Griffin, Lucius Griffin, the Dampier elf.
Pass that along.
Crucius seems to be the one who is keeping an eye out. And would you give us a perception check, please, Golag?
Okay.
You satisfied with that?
Yeah, try again. Let's see.
Oh, it's 12:30 as well, too, so you guys get another hero point.
There you go.
Nat 20, baby! Look at that. All right.
There
So
you go.
what you pick up, Golag, is that Mr. Griffin, his eyes only flit for a second. Those beady or red eyes, they only flick in the direction of your shadow for a second. But he seems to have seen him and is pretending not to have seen him.
I will relay that.
Okay, it's time for parlay.
You call your shadow back, or you leave it on Overwatch there?
I'll leave it on Overwatch for the moment.
Okay.
I was going to say, do you want me to go and see if it draws away any of them?
So you would witness, Golag, while you guys are talking about this. Griffin gets up. He walks over to where Crucius is. He taps him with his fingers on one of his shoulders. And would you kindly roll initiative, Golag? Let's see here. Just going to remove all turns here. There we go. Ooh, okay. It is, what is the AC of your shadow?
Let's see here. It's 21.
21, thank you. Just need one thing here. There we go. All right. Ooh. 21, you said, eh?
Indeed.
Okay. Your shadow, you're still watching through it as Mr. Griffin turns and hurls a pretty nasty looking combat knife, a trench knife, at your shadow. $29 damage. That is a critical hit, by the by, as well. That's not the typical damage from it. So your shadow, you can feel the anguished pain of your familiar. What would you like to do?
And so what shape is the shadow in? Like, let's see, how would you describe? Is it able to...
It's not pinned or anything like that, but it has been, like, nearly mortally wounded.
Well, I'll call it back if it can.
Yep. It can step through shadows, so it could use one action to kind of move from one shadow to another to go scrambling down, and then another to move across the street.
What? How far away are they, would you say?
They're across the street and then up top. You don't have line of sight to Mr. Griffin, though.
Gotcha. Do I think I would from our roof?
If you went to the roof, yes, probably.
I bellow out, my shadow was viciously attacked, and I go storming up to the roof.
Okay.
Okay. Adam, do we want to go from below, or do we want to go through the roof as well? I guess it's I don't know, 50 yards or something, so nothing we could, without flying, get it to the next roof.
Yeah, I'm worried Goleg might do something, so I'm going to head up to the roof.
Oh, he's definitely going to do something. You could. He's going to attack. You can tell. I mean, you'd be able to.
Yes. Okay. So I think Basil would go through the on the ground through the other building, so to climb up.
Okay. So Basil is making his way out the door, and Goleg, you are probably to the roof with Dr. Ursprung before anyone else. What do you do?
What would be the range at that point?
What are you contemplating? I may be able to give some context here. Because if you just open up with spells on someone,
yep,
you're initiating an attack on somebody.
Well, I mean, I'm returning fire, so that's
what you claim. What evidence do you have of that?
He's not concerned. He is firing away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go up. It is probably about 30 feet across.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, last warning for it. This is the kind of thing that can get you arrested.
Well, so I'm thinking. So it's a magical realm, and my familiar was viciously attacked. I mean, there has to be some.
What do you think they're going to say?
Well, I mean, I'll show my familiar. I'll show my wounded familiar and say, that's his knife sticking in my familiar,
What do you think they're going to say? That's not what I asked. What do you think they're going to say?
They're going to lie, and they're going to say something else, but I'll be saying the truth.
That doesn't matter for the purpose of whether you're going to show up and start assaulting them. And I'm mentioning this only because your character would be aware of this. I don't doubt that he's in the midst of this, but if you arrive on a roof and start throwing offensive spells against someone, what they will probably do is fall back, report, and then you will get arrested.
Okay, I guess Sean doesn't have any understanding of. Okay, so familiars have no rights. Is that the idea? I'm not sure. I'm fundamentally misunderstanding.
I think you're assuming that there's going to be perfect knowledge of what happened. What do you think they would say?
I mean, well, anytime, let's say, someone assaults someone else, who knows what they say.
That's not what I'm asking. What do you think they would say?
I have no idea. No idea.
You shot him. But
Yeah,
he's going to lie. Exactly. To Darren's point, he's going to lie, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
well, no.
They would just say there was some creature, something was hiding and it was watching them, and so they got rid of it. I don't know, some minor demon or something.
And I will reply, they were skulking about our office, and I took which they should not have been doing. And, we sent out something like, who is that? It's actually the opposite of what they say. We went out to investigate them. It's not them, I would be replying this, that they shouldn't be skulking around our office, which is clearly what they were doing.
They weren't at your office, though. They were across the street.
Viewing it from a roof.
Yeah, I think the doctor will put his hand on Golag's shoulder and say, "Remember, we're not in good favor at the moment. There seems to be people that want us in trouble. Be cautious before we start some sort of war."
Yeah, I think it was already started, but
but
I'm
saying that they're gonna potentially go for them or side with them because everyone seems to be against Golag at the moment. Even his old man seems to be ignoring him, and everyone seems to be sort of got it in for us a little bit recently.
Well, if there's nothing we can do, even when we're attacked, it's a disadvantage. I don't know.
Well, if we was in the street and there was witnesses, it'd be a lot easier because we could.
Well, keep in mind they have no witnesses either. They attack our familiar. There's no witnesses. I attack them. There's no witnesses.
It's 50-50. But if one party's looked on more favourably than the other, the 50-50 normally goes.
Yeah, I would say you would definitely know that if we attack your father's men, and they would certainly not ever get in trouble with the law. They would never. We maybe, but they never.
There also is someone else who has an interest in Mr. Golag right now.
Yeah.
You're also saying, though, that they can do... Okay, but by that logic, therefore, they can do anything they want, now or going forward, and the law will always be used against us if we counter it. So where does that leave us?
That's not at all what we said. What we talked about is the specific circumstances that you are in right now.
Right,
but
I'm saying.
But nevertheless, let's try to play this out and not. We can. I think we can solve this role playing just within the action. I think we don't need to. Or is this wrong?
Yeah, no. The doctor is putting that word of warning out there. Golag can still do whatever he wants, obviously.
So maybe you guys have stopped one another in the hallway. And do I have it right, Sean? Are Golag's eyes still jet black?
Well, if the shadow returned to Golag, probably not. If at the point that the shadow comes, all the way back.
Okay.
I would say. Oh well, in fact, he was going to go to the roof, so his eyes definitely wouldn't be black at that point.
Well, the reason I thought it might be just because you were talking about kind of as soon as you get up there, unleashing power. So he may have been marshaling magical power on his way up there.
Gotcha. Maybe to some extent, maybe a little bit, maybe in progress.
Okay. So then this conversation between Dr. Ursprung and Golag is one level of stair or one set of stairs away from hitting the roof. Golag, Dr. Ursprung has said he grabbed you. Do you want to resist that or
on the shoulder? Not. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're having discussion. I guess all three of us, right, on the stairs.
No, I think I will just try to keep on the ground and go to the next.
You did take part in the conversation, though, so I think you may have thought that and then heard them arguing and then maybe went scampering up.
Yeah.
I think, the Golag in a huff, throws up his arms and says, "Fine, you two handle it," and goes to the study, and sees about his shadow.
Okay. Let's then I'd say to Adam, let's go over there and talk on it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will end in open violence.
And if I don't know if there's any chance that Basil or Golag overheard that. It already ended in violence.
Yeah,
and
he definitely can hear that. Yeah,
and he slams the study door.
You could use your healing on your shadow as well too. You've got your healing spells. I don't know if you got any prepped, but you had in past your.
Oh yeah. My blood life boost.
Yeah,
perhaps. Yeah, he will do so. What he can, he will do.
Okay. So I can't remember how many rounds does that last? Because it's like
that.
Maybe click on the spell. We'll see here.
4 rounds
equal to double the spell's level, so that'll be 8. Wait. 4 rounds times 8. That's 24. 32. So you're 1 round, and your shadow is back up to full.
Okay.
Okay. So just click that you've used your focus point, which you'll be able to get back anyway. Dr. Earthsprung and Basil, how do you wish to handle this then?
Yeah, I think we get over and talk. That was what I meant when I said parlay, not the other one.
Okay.
It would just walk out the front door then, shall we?
Yeah. Maybe wave a little bit at Crucius. So we want to talk.
Okay. How do you wish to get up to the top? Are you making your way through the building, or you gonna climb up the side?
I could climb up the side, but
athletics.
Maybe Adam is not the best climber in the business.
Well, I was hoping they might come down to us when we sort of.
If you just stand in the street and wait, then yeah, they will come down.
Okay, so let's do that. Yeah.
Okay, so the two of them come down, and Lucius has a grin on his face that exposes the vampiric, or the influence of the vampiric serum in his pronounced canines, and Crucius has his rifle languidly over his shoulder once again. And Lucius, with that grin, as soon as he gets close enough to not be shouting, says, "You two should be careful. There's vermin about."
Yeah, I have an idea what happened. Okay, so what do you think? What did you attack?
Oh, Lucius shakes his head. I couldn't tell. It all happened so quickly. I hope it was nothing.
Yeah, I hope so as well. So, well, you know that sometimes if people react in a certain way, it leads to open hostility and violence and bloodshed, and we don't want that, do we?
Lucius says, "Blood, you say?" and grins, and Crucius kind of snorts at him. And he's like, "We don't want bloodshed." This is Crucius speaking.
Yeah. We are all in the same business, and we are all professionals, so we don't need to have this kind of open fights here and there. So it's a business of spying and stealth and not being seen, and of perception, but not a game of muscle and shooting, is it?
Lucius grins again and says, "Can be." Crucius kind of turns to him and he says, "Get back up." They may be using this as an excuse to sneak the other ones out the back. And Lucius sort of looks past you guys into the house to see if he can see where Golag is, and then he kind of scampers to the side and he begins to climb up the side of the building. Crucius, once he's sort of out of earshot, looks down at you guys and says, that whatever it was from one of you.
It was Golag's familiar, and you almost started a war.
He's He kind of nods his head back in the direction of Lucius. He says, he has a hard time with his temper.
I see. Listen, I know we are under surveillance, and it's your job to see what we are up to, and it's no problem. But it can't be we all have to be careful whether we shoot first and ask questions later, or whether we first ask and then shoot.
His whiskers kind of twitch. He says, well, I can guarantee you if it comes to shooting, you won't know where mine's coming from.
I believe that.
And he grins. He says, our instructions are to watch, not engage.
That's good. So listen,
the familiar. Will it live?
Yes.
I'll let Annabelle know what happened. It won't happen again, but
so I'm saying this not to be disrespectful or anything, but at the moment the Order of Saint Sylvester is very high on basically getting rid of Dampiers or putting something on them if they can. So this should be very careful. I don't know if you heard, but they are very
give us a perception
now.
check. I take it you were not intending that as a threat, were you?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I re-roll. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm using a hero point. And it's even worse. That's great. Yeah, that's, okay. I don't know.
So, Dr. Urfung, you were there as well. If you'd like to give us a perception check, you can.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Here's we got a nat 1 doing. Oh, look at that. So Basil doesn't seem to be picking up on this. Perhaps Yasaki have a hard time reading, catfolk faces.
Yeah,
but Dr. Ursprung, that doesn't seem like it surprises him at all. Like there's not any reaction from me. It's like, if you were to guess, it's something he was well aware of.
And potentially doesn't care.
Or maybe there's a reason they're coming down to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
If you got an out of control, ill-tempered Dampier on your crew, that is a pretty easy way, as you say, to get the attention of the Order of St. Sylvester, who seem to be taking a turn for how they handle Dampiers in Paridar.
Yeah, we can get him off of our back temporarily, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So he says,
yeah, so...
Crucius nods and says, you had a Dampier in your crew, too.
He's missing.
That seems to be going around. Now, you boys in for the night? Or are we going to go through rigmarole again?
So... honestly, we wanted to visit the Order of Saint Sylvester because they took another one. But...
a Dampier?
I'm not sure. I don't know what they are exactly about, but this woman you seen coming to us, her daughter was taken.
You're going to go to the Order?
Yes.
All right. He shrugs. It's a little easier without the pretense, no?
Yeah. See you there, or maybe better not see you there. Just.
He winks at you and turns. Let us know when you're ready to go.
You will.
And he stops and he says, Doc's boy, I didn't give the go-ahead for what was done to his familiar.
Okay. I'll let him know.
So he... You would have made really well... You made really well. Fucking stellar English here. Jeez. Hope you're picking up something here, Ingolf.
Yeah. I live and learn. Yeah.
If I cannot be an example, I'll live as a cautionary tale. Dr. Ursprung, you rolled quite well on that. So I think you see him pause for a moment and kind of spare a look back at you. And if you've had enough patience to know, like, sometimes folks aren't forthcoming when they want to get help from you. And from what you've told us before in this campaign, like, you've got a good bedside manner. He seems like he wants to ask you something, and then he seems like he's about to turn away and go.
Would I was going to say, with all my many pockets in my coats and that, would I have a piece of paper or something?
Sure.
And I'll just... I think you drop this, and I'll just give him a blank bit of paper, and just hope that he sort of... It makes him think, oh, maybe I could pass a message or something.
Yeah, so he takes it. And there's a moment where he's kind of like locking eyes with you to try and figure out what you mean, and then there's a realization of like, thanks, Doctor. And he places his in his overcoat, or his greatcoat, and it just says, nod when you're ready to go. And he saunters into the alleyway. Golag, what are you doing while this is going on? Apart from just healing your shadow. You have control over your shadow, don't you? The shadow token? Let me make sure here.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was just going to heal you up here.
He's just kind of tending to the shadow. You know, he's kind of fuming.
Yeah,
in the study.
And if you have it separated from you and you've infused it once again, are you pacing? Are you sitting? Are you trying to focus on something? Are you drawing?
I think I'm in a book. I'm in a tome.
And is it that kind of like you're pretending to look at a tome and just seething otherwise, or are you actually reading something?
It's a tome of how to magically eviscerate people.
Yeah,
you know, kind of a sort of a, you know, and then you remove the feet. You know, blah 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 blah. Kind of you know.
So. It is in the midst of that, you sort of, you know, you just get lost in kind of the emotion that you've been feeling here. And you don't quite realize that it has happened until, you know, you hear the door slam at the front. But do you remember that cheering of crowds that you've heard sometimes when you lose yourself in the painting, or when you had that strange connection with the white blossoms? You can feel yourself shirtless, baking in a hot environ, and teeming hordes calling your name in the dark from below. The hell is that? You can hear Basil and Dr. Ursprung talking to one another as Dr. Ursprung's footfalls are quite distinctive.
And so I felt like I got lost. I got kind of a
Hey, kind of zoned out. You were reading this stuff, but I mean, like you were reading it, you know, more like flipping through and looking at something and whatnot. And when you look up, your shadow is separated and is looming against the light. There's presumably some kind of lantern or light in your study. It is on the far side of where you are sitting. It is in a location where it is not being cast by you. If you were to guess, it is looking down at you, and it is larger than you've seen it.
I ask it what it is doing.
No response.
Does it feel different? Does it seem, you know,
Angry.
Is there anything, what's that?
Angry.
It seems angry. Was it angry before? Like when it got wounded, you know, it might have been angry.
You're perhaps, think of how you were feeling at that moment when you decided to try to bring death to those who who injured your familiar. If you were seeing that reflected, if you could feel it as a radiating source, that's what you're seeing on the far side of this flame.
So I think it's probably angry because I'm angry. Is that sort of okay? So
it sounds like you're feeling more curious right now than just flat out angry.
Well, it took my attention away. You know, it broke my. You know, it gave me something else to focus on.
So it's almost like imagine a bonfire on a winter's night. The cool of your otherwise placid demeanor and feeling this wave of fury hitting you.
I mean, now that I know what the likely reason, you know, I might be like, yeah, you know, you know, it's exactly,
yeah,
and but I will, I'll try to call it back over.
It slowly kind of moves across the floor like spilled quicksilver, and then links up with you once again in the darkness at your feet. And you don't so much feel it's not a sense of like a communication or a word or whatnot, but there is an overwhelming impulse that it is bringing back on you. What it wants. You know what it wants. Kill. As it seals back into its tattoos. That doesn't transfer it back over to you. It doesn't affect your mood whatsoever, but it is clear what your shadow wants.
I tell it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, it's
so if you guys come back in,
mind.
You can hear Golag talking to himself in the study.
Not for the first time, surely.
No.
And especially after the events. I mean, it's not an average night after dinner.
Definitely. So, why don't we take our mid-session break right now, and then we will come back and see what our illuminators elect to do next. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right. I've been having all this week, this one squirrel in our backyard has been getting like closer and closer and keeps checking in once a day. This morning I had my back door open because Anna likes to go outside, and I don't know if it was the same guy. He looked smaller. He got it right to the top of the backs, like the stairs that lead out to my porch. It was about a foot away from the back door. And I was like, I'm gonna have to. This isn't going to end well for anybody because Anna Banana was sleeping inside, and she's not really prey-driven, but I think a squirrel that close might be too much to resist. But
That's a trigger.
Couldn't believe it. Like that, it just bulls brass, a little guy.
We've got a thing with foxes lately.
No kidding.
Where they just come out during the day, and they're just sitting in the garden now, the days. They're really sort of in your face, whereas they always used to hide and only come out at night. And there seem to be that my brother's got it in his garden as well.
So there's a thing that raccoons can get called distemper, where it fucks up their like diurnal cycle. They're out during the day when they should be out at night, kind of thing.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. So it could be some kind of illness, or it could just be that they're bold,
So Fleabag wasn't wrong in the final scene where the fox runs around. So that's a thing that happens really in England.
Gosh, the last time I saw a fox up close was when I lived in Winnipeg and we were golfing. We had one that came out on the golf course, and we're like, "You little fucker, stay away from my ball."
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah.
There was I think there was something. Yeah, dogs are renowned for, if they ever get loose on a golf course, for picking up golf balls. Because I play golf, or I certainly used to, and so annoying when you go to get your ball and bring it back, and they just run off. And...
Yeah. Oh, we don't have a lot of foxes in the city, but we do have coyotes. Not in my neighborhood per se, but the last part of Calgary I used to live in, we'd have one or two mornings where I would walk Emilu, Anna's sister, who predates her, and we would see coyotes in the big field.
Yeah. They're about the same size as a dog, are they?
The coyotes are probably like maybe like 30 pounds. So like they're not like tiny, but they're not huge. Wolves, I've seen wolves when I've been hiking, and they're fucking big. But foxes are, at least in North America, are tiny. The coyotes are mid-size. It's the fact that there's so many that come together. So like little dogs, you got to be careful. In certain parts of Calgary, letting them out at certain times of day because you don't want them to be taken off by the coyotes.
There'll be a pack of them, yeah.
Yeah.
No animals, no wild animals in my part of the world. Occasionally a wolf, but only one in, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I have in my back, because I've got these big evergreen trees in the backyard. So I've got crows and magpies, and there's been some little sparrows. There's wood on the outside of my house, so I've got a woodpecker that sometimes comes around that drives me fucking nuts. And squirrels. We got like 3. There's chipmunks, red squirrels, or gray squirrels, and black squirrels. So there's just a ton of them.
That's the first time I've ever seen a black squirrel. About a month ago.
Oh yeah,
like on a golf course. I thought, what's that?
Yeah,
I just didn't know what it was. I looked it up, and it's like, oh no, that is a thing.
Yeah, it's a black. Yeah.
But it's like 1 in 1,000, I think.
Yeah.
Well, over here, I think it's like 1 in 1,000 or so.
Oh yeah. I remember my sister's in-laws, like this is 2 marriages ago for her. They were from Stockport, and when they came over to visit, they were just flipping out over the number of squirrels and the variety of squirrels. The squirrels! Andy, look, the squirrels! It was great.
We have coyotes here that we have to, if you're going to walk a dog, at night anyway.
Yeah.
To, particularly during when they're having pups and that kind of thing. That if you keep them on leash, you just keep it on leash. If your dog's on leash, nothing's going to happen. But if your dog goes off, kind of goes into the trees and furrows a little bit at night, that's when if there's either they get in trouble or at worse, there's a pack of coyotes that decide that's the next meal.
Yeah. Well, I was saying to the guys, like those parts of Calgary, not where I live now, but where I lived before, we used to sometimes see them in the morning when I'd walk the dog. Yeah. And there's some parts of the town, especially near where the creeks are, that you have to keep the, like small dogs can't go out on their own at certain times of day because, or certain times of year at least because they'll go off. Yep. But, all right. Then, also, although I should say that we don't have any surfing dogs.
I didn't make it. There, unfortunately. No. I know.
Sean was saying yesterday he was going to go to a surfing dog event yesterday. So
it's a super cool event. It's a little hard to get to. It's a spot that's a lot of traffic, hard to park, all the stuff.
Yeah, we didn't make it to the mountains yesterday anyway because we had they're doing construction at the end of our block, and these guys were blocking our driveway for a bit. I'm like, well, after breakfast, or lunch, I'll go and have a word and I'll get myself out, and I just never did that. So, and then it got too late to go. So. I was similarly unproductive. So then, speaking of productive though, so you guys, Dr. Ursprung and Basil are back in, and you can hear Golag is in his study, seemingly conversing with himself or someone at least.
Yeah, we've heard him speaking to his shadow before, I'm sure. So.
Golag, they apologized. It was a misunderstanding.
One of their members is somewhat bloodthirsty, as you can imagine.
I see. And he's just piddling around.
You would have taken the 10 minutes, I think, to recover your focus point, so you can give yourself the focus point back.
No.
Okay. So, I told them we were visiting the Order of Saint Sylvester. I mean, at least some of us should go.
Like I said, I'm happy to go. I don't know if they'll accept visitors, especially at this time of night, but can certainly try.
And the rest of you?
So I think we would start heading out there, and then maybe at some point deviate or something like that.
You could maybe slip out of when we get there. Maybe while I'm going in to talk to him, you could maybe take
something like that.
Dark alley or something, and try and split up.
I mean, we could go in and. Only you talk to them, and we go directly out again.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
sounds good.
So are you taking the motorized carriage then?
Can you drive it, Adam?
I'm sure I could.
He's an engineer, I think. Yeah, he's crafting. Golag, cover yours for a moment. Perhaps better than Golag.
Okay.
I don't know if
this night will never be forgotten. First, the familiar.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm insured on it, but I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could.
After the result with the Blackwell, I can tell you your premiums have gone through the fucking roof after you gave them the answer they did not want. So is the plan for Dr. Ursprung, just so I'm clear, the plan is that all three of you are going to go in Golag's motorized carriage to go there, and then Basil and Golag are going to try and break off at some point?
Yeah, so my idea was that we even go inside, but maybe use another exit to go out the minute we enter, in a way. So go into the front exit and go out to the back. If possible.
Well, let me ask you this. That's a good plan if you were not going into a monster hunting secret society's headquarters, it may be more difficult to navigate around there freely than when... I think that plan works absolutely perfectly with almost any other location, but in here, they're probably not going to let you just wander wherever you want to go, and you would likely be aware of that.
Yeah, okay, so maybe we could just change. So, Golek, you can make this kind of field of darkness, could you? Or I have a smoke stick.
I think he has invisibility now, doesn't he?
I do. I have...
Yeah.
I have that. That's my primary... That's what I would primarily use there. I have one instance of that.
Yeah, I mean, we could use that to get out of the car and hide somewhere. And then go back to...
Oh, yeah, when we arrive, you could...
Yeah.
I could open the door, we all get out, but you two invisible, and you go on your separate way, and I go in and talk to the...
Yeah.
Yeah, could do that.
Okay.
Do we need to have puppets which stay in the car like that?
A bit of string that just does this every so often.
Yeah.
I would look forward to seeing what the Paridar equivalent of crash test dummies are.
Yeah.
All right. So then the three of you go outside. Basil, do you actually nod up at Crucius as you're about to leave, or?
Yeah.
Okay. He nods back at you, and you guys, get it going. Golek, how does it feel to be a passenger in this thing?
Nervous. I mean, I've definitely told Dr. Ersprung, like, there's no need. You should stay back. A certain amount of distance. Oh, for sure.
Every parent letting their child drive the vehicle for the first time.
Yeah, when you park, you don't want to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Backseat driver.
100%.
So then you're able to navigate around. Let me find another screen for us for the headquarters of the Church of St. Sylvester. I think I have a church in here somewhere. Let's see. There's a ship at Fog. Ooh, here we go.
I mean, I could also have a head of disguise. I mean,
that's your answer to everything.
Yes.
You know what they say, when a man has a hammer, every problem looks like a hat of disguise. All right. So there we are. So we can say that maybe one of the more imposing buildings on the left side there, that might be what are the headquarters of the Order of St. Sylvester looks like. And it has quite, even for Gothic architecture, has some quite gruesome looking gargoyles outside. And big heavy doors. It has the appearance of something that may have been like a converted church or converted, not a cathedral, but some place of worship from beforehand. It has otherwise the accoutrements of the Church of the Heavenly, or the Church of the Heavenly Host. Dr. Ersprung, you park outside. What I'm assuming is, rather than having him ride on the back as you typically do, you've got Igor on the inside to give the excuse for why you're opening the door. Golag and Basil, you vanish as you cast your spell. What does it look like as you cast your spell, Golag?
I think it's the first time I've used it. Let's see. Yeah, probably a little area of, from our perspective, an area of shadow and darkness. Kind of comes over this 10-foot area. 10-foot emanation, 10-foot, however that.
If I might make a suggestion, because it probably wouldn't. Perhaps it emanates out within the thing and just swallows the two of you, so there isn't any obvious manifestation outside of the carriage.
Yeah, I was just saying from our perspective,
kind of. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So you have a clear idea then of where this goes. Basil and Golag, you disappear. The door is open. I'm assuming you step out. Why don't you each give us a stealth check, please? And you can take, I think, a plus 10 when you were invisible. Let me double check here. Invisible. Right here. Here we go.
I think your spell should start with a firework, and then there should be this pulsating globe, and then we are invisible.
It's more of a distraction.
I think, you know what? Don't bother rolling it. I don't think I don't think there's a chance of them seeing, because they're not going to be able to hear you in this busy square. So you guys are able to step out, and you'll tell us how you disappear into the crowd as Igor steps out of the carriage.
Okay.
What do we see for you guys? Where is it you had? You have 10 minutes before the spell expires.
Yeah, I think we need to have some kind of a cap which gets us back to where we want to go.
Okay.
So we need to, go down a block or 3, get away from the area.
So then we see you emerge from an alleyway and flag down a cab, and you'll be heading off to Dr. Babwell's residence. Okay. So Dr. Earthsprung, let's start with you, because you are here now. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I make a deal of, opening the carriage, getting Igor out. I try and block the visibility with the carriage a bit, so it makes them. Were they there? Was Basil hiding, or just to throw him off a little bit and just annoy him, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if the door would even be open, would it? If I try and open the door.
If you try and just open the door, it is not. It is locked.
No. So I should knock on the door then.
Okay. And after a wait of about maybe 2 minutes or so, the door is opened by someone. He is not the same as Sir Archibald or Sir Barnabas, but they have a similar uniform. Younger guy, clean-shaven, lighter hair. Gonna help you.
Is Archibald Morgan there? I wish to speak to him.
Who's asking?
Dr. Adam Earthsprung.
Wait here. Closes the door. You hear the locking of something. There's a wait of about maybe 10 minutes. So do you do anything during that time, or are you just waiting until they return?
No, I will go back to the carriage, open the door, and sort of pretend I'm talking to someone inside or something. Just keep the illusion going.
Doing stage noises. Rutabaga,
Yeah.
rutabaga, 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 rutabaga.
Yeah.
You then hear the sound of the door opening, or the door being thrown. And the young guy steps out once again. Looks down at you. He's not available.
Does that mean he's not there, or he's not available to speak to myself at the moment?
He just stares in silence at you like you've got your answer. But he doesn't leave, though.
Is there anyone else I can speak to about someone that you're investigating, or you've got inside, I believe?
Now you have his attention. What
A
investigation
patient of
would that
mine.
be, Doctor?
A patient of mine is Vesta King.
He locks eyes on you and kind of... You can feel he's trying to judge something from you.
I'm concerned for her well-being. She is quite a fragile individual, I believe.
Wait yet. And he steps back inside. The door closes. Shunk. You hear the door lock once again. It's about another 5 minutes this time before the door opens and out steps in a partially undone jacket is Sir Barnabas Steele. He steps out. He looks both ways, up and down the street. Afternoon, Doctor.
Evening.
Or evening, I guess, yeah.
May I have a word?
You may. But, Doctor, why don't we go for a stroll here? Did you come alone?
It's just me, yeah.
Go legs. Not with you?
No, he had other business this evening.
Steps forward and he gestures to you. You could leave your mechanical man here.
Yeah, I'll leave him with the vehicle.
Okay. So he starts walking into, and he waits for your pace for you to catch up, and begins walking with you through kind of the square here. Carriages are moving around. People are moving around. He's moving towards where that big plinth or statue or whatever it is in the middle. A plinth. There we go. You know how often I want to use the word plinth, guys, and don't get a chance to? Paridar. So what he, as he gets closer to there, he says, the mother sent you here. Yes?
She is very concerned about Vesta, as you can imagine.
And as you can imagine. What do you know, sir, about her peculiarities?
I know she had dealings with this Gwendolyn Fallow. That's a name you know, I assume.
That would be the cult with which she was associated before.
Yes, so she had connection with her.
And what I know is, while that cult has been disbanded, Miss Fallow was not taken into custody, nor was she dealt with. Do we have that right, sir?
Yes, we would also like to find her.
I understand that Ms. King was institutionalized for a time, and through your ministrations, she recovered, but in a peculiar state. Do I have that right, Doctor?
She is an interesting individual. I'm not so sure she's dangerous, though.
You are familiar with her paintings?
Yes. I have one being investigated or examined, well, as we speak.
This would be the one that she gave to as a gift to Mr. Golag.
Indeed.
You recall what we talked about when I came to visit?
Are you talking about the murders?
Indeed.
The ritual murders?
Indeed.
You think she's connected?
Well, let me return your question with a question, Doctor. What would you say, sir, if I told you the same markings we found on those bodies have been duplicated in several of her paintings?
And have I witnessed that?
I'm not sure you've seen enough of her paintings to draw that, and I'm not sure you were looking for her. There weren't pictures of Golag mutilating people or anything like that in the paintings you saw, anything like the photos that you saw. So if he means just the markings, like there's all sorts of strange, background accoutrements and whatnot that you've seen in several of her paintings of Golag.
But nothing that would stand out as those particular markings or anything.
I don't know if you've put your mind to it, right? Because they're sort of like abstract. Like if you see a bunch of... if you turn your mind to trying to find similarities between like Futhark runes and a bunch of scribblings on a wall somewhere, you probably would find them, but if you weren't actively looking for that, it would just be like, oh, designs.
Yeah. I must admit, I didn't notice that within the pictures myself. But I wasn't looking for it maybe as closely as others.
There's a reason why you might not be, sir.
If you're suggesting that Golag is involved, then I can assure you he's not.
I see that your mind has gone to the same place mine has. I could assure you, sir, we wish no harm to come to Miss King. If she is innocent. What did you do, sir, to help her recover from her uncertain state from before?
Well, out of character, just to remember, I didn't really do a lot.
Yeah, it's like medication, some counseling.
It was just the fact that everyone didn't believe her until we proved. So it was just a combination of normal medicines and a bit of counseling. She was well, everyone thought she was mad because of the things she was telling everybody, but she was telling the truth somewhat.
What truth would that be, sir?
About this cult and what they were doing. They were summoning things, I believe.
Bringing dark things from beyond. That's what your Miss Carrington wrote.
Indeed.
Do you think, or have you seen, any evidence of her having a persisting connection to that dark place?
I haven't been monitoring her maybe as closely as you have, but not as of yet. But I think she is still troubled from her past, and I think there is still the danger of a connection with this fellow.
Medium of some kind.
Maybe. I just wanted your assurance that, you know, she will be treated fairly and you won't be doing anything rash.
And what would you think that might be, sir?
Well, you know, I've heard things from the Order that things can be taken into your own. You take control of the situation, and if there's a threat, you eradicate it without much consideration, maybe. Without asking.
In your capacity as a physician, have you ever had to amputate?
Yes. Needed.
And I take it those not familiar with the stakes of requiring such drastic solutions might find that extreme.
But it would always be my last resort. I would try everything else first. To cure the wound, the infection, the condition.
You have a soft heart, Doctor. You're not quite clear if he means it as a compliment or a slight.
Yeah. Yep. It can be taken both ways, I'm sure.
I can assure you nothing at this stage We only wish to question Ms. King. And we've had evidence come to light what suggests one of those murders, if Mr. Golag was with you in that town that Miss Carrington wrote about.
Dagger C.
Then for one of them, he's got an alibi. But I would think it would be of interest to you and yours to know why there's a killer going around marking things with things similar to what's on Mr. Goldag's skin and what Miss King paints. I can assure you, it certainly interests me.
I can understand that, but as I said, I can assure you, you are being led down the garden path. I think someone is maybe trying to deflect some of the attention.
Could be. You mentioned you're pursuing this Miss Fallow.
Yes, we have a case ourselves that we're investigating.
The same as before, or something different now?
Another murder. This Carter Harrington. I don't know if you heard about it.
He stops and thinks.
A businessman.
A businessman. And you
Ransom
think
Babwell and Zane Saxon. They may be names that you've heard.
Saxon? His name's been in the papers of late.
Yes, another one of the partners of the business.
Routine murder? Or something connected to that cult from before?
Well, on the surface, it looks like thuggery or some sort of routine thing, but it doesn't sit well with us.
And what is Miss Fallow's connection to this?
Well, there seems to be some sort of magic involvement. There seems to be illusion and deception. This Zane Saxon, some of the things don't tie up right. The sister of the victim swears blind that this Zane Saxon didn't exist more than a few weeks ago.
And you give this credibility?
There are people that think that there is magics out there that could do something like this. Bring some sort of creature into this world. I don't know if you've heard of such a thing as a tulpa.
I have not.
Well, nor had I until we started investigating.
And Fallow's connection. She's with this tulpa.
Which we found evidence that she's been speaking to one of the other partners. A letter addressed from her, so she is back on the scene. And as you've seen before, she can't be trusted, and she's up to no good whenever she's involved with anything, it seems. She knows dark magics.
We are familiar with her involvements. Vesta King is a patient of yours.
I was keeping an eye on her after what happened to her previously. I do check her over medically.
You strike me as, well, not a man. He kind of looks over the various pieces of your patchwork face. One who can be relied upon. My suspicions remain of Mr. Mr. Golag. But I propose an exchange. You keep us apprised of your investigations into Ms. Fallow as they happen, and I will share with you what we have learned of her otherwise involvement. Her name has come up in a number of our investigations. Her reach, it seems, given her age, more extensive, sir, than I would have expected.
Well, it certainly seems fair. I'm happy to give you anything that will help you in your investigation.
I still have some questions for Miss King, but I will release her to her parents on the morn, with the expectation you will observe her care once a week and provide a summary to us.
I agree to these terms.
Before I shake your hand, is there anything else you know about Ms. King? What I don't know yet? He fixes you with a gaze that suits his namesake.
Well, like I say, I do find something troubling with her that I can't explain from a medical point of view. The way she talked when Golag and myself spoke to her last, I did find a little troubling.
In what way, sir?
She spoke like she had some sort of power. We mentioned Gwendolyn Farrow, and she said something like she doesn't trouble me anymore, or she's below me, or what did she say? She tries to think back.
I mean, you don't really know, or you just playing you don't know?
No, I'm trying to remember.
She said she was below her, yeah.
Beyond.
Below her.
Beyond her, yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. When I said I was worried that Gwendolyn Farrow was back on the scene, or maybe back to her old tricks, and to warn her, she said, I am beyond her now. Which I don't understand what that meant. But, like I say, I do not understand the magics. I am just a doctor of medicine.
He steps forward and then, like snapping to attention, his hand goes out to shake yours.
Yeah, I'll shake his hand.
Thank you, sir. Your candor is greatly appreciated, and I will do as I sworn. You are not wrong. I think that girl is touched. And I hope that there is something that can be done for her. It'd be a shame to aggrieve her family if she is beyond redemption, but You would agree, Doctor. You still got your hand. There are times when a limb cannot be saved.
Well, indeed. If you think that she is at risk to the population, then I would understand if you keep her.
Let's go.
For more surveillance.
Good. Then, if you speak to her mother, we'll escort her back home on the morn. Thank you for the conversation, Doctor. Say hello to your Mr. Rathbone for me.
Will do.
And he strides across the clearing or square and then back into the Order of St. Sylvester's building. Anything further you wish to do, Dr. Ersprung?
No, I'll get back in the carriage and drive it back to the office.
Okay. Golag and Basil, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Waiting till our cab arrives. I'm sorry.
So you're going to be able to easily flag down a cab. You're heading towards Mr. Babwell's home.
Yeah.
Let me find.
Just maybe have some kind of like a watch over our shoulder whether we are followed.
Good call. So let me make what is your best perception bonus between the two of you. I think it's probably Basil, right?
Yeah, I think mine is. I'm sorry. My involuntary close is 50.
1-5.
Mine's 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the nice part of Paridar here. I wonder if did I scroll down at some point? What the heck is going on here? Hold up. Oh, I did. Okay. Sorry, when I'm switching pages, all the background images are just a little higher than they normally are for me. I must have done something. All right, so as you arrive at... Oh, hold on, let me make that roll for you. Plus 15. All right. As far as you can tell, there is nobody following you. Mm-hmm. It's not long before you reach there. Do you have anything you wish to discuss on your way to there? Any strategy? Also, each of you get a hero point.
I think we need to. I don't know. I think your way of I mean, you shake the tree and I try to collect it back up. Is this like you want to do it, Golak? You want to steer him up in a way.
Well, whatever is most effective. So, I mean, I think really, all I'm saying is we don't have. It probably doesn't even, other than maybe our purposeful mention of the word tulpa. I think just what we're doing intrinsically is going to stir him up. So it may not even require our purposeful doing that.
Okay.
Okay. So the door is, you were dropped off, and the mists are coming up for the evening. The Babwell residence is smart and upper class, but not opulent, the way that some other places you have gone to have been. You make your way up, knock on the door. It is answered by a servant. Good evening, sirs.
Hello. I am Golag. This is Basil. We would like to speak to Dr. Babwell if there's any possibility of an audience.
Have you an appointment?
Sadly, no. But we were hoping he may see us anyway if he had a free moment.
She looks at the two of you back and forth. I will see, sir. She closes the door.
And maybe I'll give her a card.
Okay.
Yeah.
She takes the card. Would Basil kindly give us a perception check, please?
Mm-hmm. 24.
Okay. As far as you can tell, his place isn't being watched by anybody.
Okay, that's good.
Golag, you can actually assist that if you'd like. Give us a perception roll against DC 15.
All right.
+1 on a 15, +2 on a 25. Nice! Holy smokes. So the two of you are fairly confident nobody is watching this place.
All right.
The door is answered, and the servant says, "Please come in." And she looks like she's not sure if she should say anything, and says, "He did just get home, and he was eating dinner."
Mm-hmm. So he might, if we wouldn't find it uncomfortable for him to continue eating.
I see. And she leads you down a hallway, and then she opens up a set of double doors that leads into a study. And in there you can see, seemingly like finishing buttoning up his suit or otherwise getting himself ready to speak, is Dr. Ransom Babwell. And he fixes his glasses. Gentlemen, forgive me. He has your card in his hand. I'm not... Are you colleagues of that doctor and that mer woman who came earlier this week?
Yes. We thank you for taking us without an appointment, Dr. Babwell.
I will... I do not have much time. It has been a long day. But please, come in. Mary, if you could bring... it is quite late. Brandy, gentlemen?
That would be fine. Thank you.
Brandy. And she leaves. He gestures for you to go down. I spoke to... And Basil and Golag, this guy does not look well. Like, he has the look of a human who is, from your perspective, I imagine, Golag, all humans look quite pale, at least Caucasian ones. And he is even more bone white, than... you think that Dr. Ursprung could make a meal out of the symptoms that he's exhibiting. Dark rings around his eyes, kind of a sticky pallor to his skin. But he gestures for you to sit down on a couch, and then he sits down in a chair. What was it that you wished to speak to me about?
I'll look at Basil in case he wants to lead.
No, I think you wanted to steer things up, so I would. You're in the steering mood, I suppose.
Dr. Babwell, we are looking into, well, for one thing, the murder of your colleague, the most unfortunate demise of Mr. Carter Harrington.
So, Carter? What? Who hired you to look into Carter's death? I understood it was a mugging, and he's kind of correcting his glasses. He's leaning forward.
Well, his wife is concerned of his demise, of course, and wondered if there's anything more to it.
Is he? And he takes the glasses off. My sister... He gets up. The way he gets up, it seems like it's a struggle for him to raise himself back up again. Isabel hired you?
I'm sorry, but maybe you misheard Mr. Godak. He said the wife of the deceased.
Wife of the deceased.
That would be an accomplishment, seeing that Carter was not married.
That is interesting. That is interesting. You know, we are a little bit confused because we seem to have common acquaintances
I'm sorry.
that left us puzzled. Have you
have-
ever heard?
Gentlemen, who hired you? Really?
Have you ever heard the name Gwendolyn Fellow?
Who hired you? Anyway, he says that. He says, wait, what? And he moves back in his chair. I would like you to leave now. And the door sort of opens as Mary is coming in with the drinks and kind of looks back and forth. Mary, these men will be leaving now. Please get their coats.
And that happened the moment he heard the name.
100%.
And I think Golag has a little smirk in that, I was the one that was going to be stirring it up, huh? And looks at Basil with a wink. Can't help it.
I try to gesture to Golag to just do your eyes thing.
So
I don't know if he
leave.
understands.
You guys.
Okay, so,
Oh, I will call the constabulary.
oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry
Yeah,
to upset you, sir.
There must have been a misunderstanding. We were talking just about a common acquaintance, but I don't know why this upset you.
Out
your
now!
master.
And he storms to the into the other room. Mary is standing there and kind of quickly puts the things down. She says, "Gentlemen," and gestures to the hallway.
I'll look for a place in the manor that's less lighted on our way out.
Okay.
If I find anything.
Yep.
If there is one. And I'll try to leave my shadow there.
Okay. Remember, your face will then change, right?
Yeah, this will be on the way out, so I'm hoping,
Okay. Sure.
I'm
Why don't
hoping
you give us a stealth check? Let's just see if how that goes. Amazing. Where would you like to try and place or have your shadow go?
Maybe under a table, like
Okay.
in the shadow of a tabletop.
Okay. And then once you step outside,
And once the door closes, I'll say, I don't know what you would have had me do, Basil. I know you had something in mind. I just wasn't certain, so I didn't want to misstep. You were wanting me to...
You should have activated your shadow magic and shown that you are one of Gwendolyn's potential acquaintances, but
I see.
nevertheless...
For purposes of intimidation, I would imagine, given his reaction.
Yeah, or maybe to open him up and change his mind, but now we are out, so...
I thought you were opposed to stirring him up, or at least slightly opposed. Doesn't seem so.
I was not opposed to stirring him up. I was just opposed to getting us expelled like this.
I wanted to stir him up. You wanted to light him on fire, it seems, and I chuckled.
Yeah. I think we just need to get inside or in a little bit more quiet way.
Well, I left my shadow inside, so...
That is helpful.
do you remember offhand what the range of your familiar is?
Let's see...
I want to say 1,000 feet, but I can't remember offhand. Here we go.
Maybe the share senses would be what we'd look up.
Familiar 212 to 214 of the player core. Let's see. Go. Oh, where is it here? Here we go. Master abilities. Share senses. Once every 10 minutes, you can use a single action to concentrate with the concentrate trait to project your senses into your familiar. When you do so, you lose all sensory information from your body, and it can last for up to a minute. Yeah, there we go. And then the familiar 1 mile of you.
What's that, 1 mile?
You can communicate empathically as long as it's within 1 mile.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just wait a minute or two, and then
and get to a better spot, like across the street, and into a shadow, into an alley, into some place that would be, if someone happens to walk upon us, it's not wildly strange.
Sure,
We're just...
sure. Why don't you give us a Basil, why don't you give us a stealth check, please?
Yeah, okay.
Great.
24.
Okay. Guile, why don't you give us stealth as well to assist? +1, 25. Okay. Plus the ambient. Well, you need the shadows in order to hide, so I guess that's not an extra bonus. So you're feeling like you're well concealed and near where the home is. How long do you wish to wait here, just so I get a sense of what you might be able to see? And
I will try to, when we're maybe a little bit of a hustle, to get in this spot, because I would like to see his immediate reaction as much as I'm able.
Yeah.
So then I'll share senses at that point.
Okay. So then you can. I'm assuming your shadow is going to try and stay in a position where it is close enough to overhear what is kind of going on. Yeah. There is no. What you overhear is basically his wife talking to him about how upset he seems to be, and was he shouting? Who were those people? And he dismisses you as nobody. He dismisses any concerns, and he mentions that they needn't worry about it. He instructs Mary to turn away any other visitors this evening. And that's really everything he talks about your visit as far as that's concerned. How long do you wait?
I think for a bit, because we don't have any pressing concern after this, and the shadow's in a good spot. We have a good situation, so nothing may happen, but it's worth making sure.
So it's about 45 minutes later, when another carriage comes rolling out, and a familiar face, or at least a familiar silhouette you can see, because he gets out and then heads directly towards the door. That is Mr. Saxon. And you can quite easily hear that Mary, it seems, tries to comply with her master's orders, and you can hear Saxon bellow out of my way, girl! And he pushes his way inside, slams the door behind him, and you can hear that he is demanding to speak to Babwell.
It might be minorly amusing, since I think in the way that it works, I don't think Golag's aware that the carriage drove up, so he only knows. He's probably going to... Maybe he mutters to Basil.
But remember, he can only share senses for 1 minute every 10.
Gotcha.
So it's like 1 in 10 chances that this happens.
So at the time, he probably did then. Gotcha.
Yeah. But roll D10 on a 1 that you would have been in the house when this happened. No. So you were...
I saw him go up, yep.
Yeah. But you're also only like 1 minute away from being able to renew your eavesdropping. So
if you tell me that maybe I would sneak up and try to place my clockwork spy.
Okay.
On what? On the house?
Yeah, on the house. So I would just try to move outside. I don't know where. I'm not in the view of the windows. It might take some time, but I eventually might get there.
Basil, give us a stealth check, please.
Yeah. And I would try to err on the cautionary side. So if I try to... Oh. 27.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, you're easily able to get over. the ways that are accessible from the front are probably the study, the hallway. There may be some other, music room off to the left. Where would you like to place this? Is it the study you're trying to get into?
Yeah.
Once again,
if I can. I mean, it's like this. I mean, it's like the palm of the hand. I think from the so it's just small device and can walk by itself. So.
Okay, so it goes crawling inside the windows that have been left open for the summer to let some of the summer breeze in. The sky above is alight with those falling stars once again. And Golag, you're able to go back in. Why don't you give us a roll for your shadows stealth?
Okay.
You satisfied with that?
Yeah, we try it again. Let's see. Worse.
So the shadow you're saying is trying to kind of stay underneath where the desks are or something like that?
Yeah, unmoving, just in a nook of a tabletop or a desk underneath the thing of a desk.
So you can hear the sort of stalking of because I don't think you can directly see just yet. You can hear the stalking of Mr. Saxon back and forth, the same way he was in, when he came into your office, that predatory impatience. And then Babwell came in and says, Mr. Saxon, I did not expect you to, and he just immediately starts laying into him. What did you tell them? You tell them nothing! And he starts bellowing at them. This goes on, unfortunately, for longer than a minute, which means you will lose the sensation. So you're back with Basil for the long 9-minute wait until you can access the senses once again. Basil's gone. Right.
Yeah. And I can't see Basil, right?
You can give us a perception check. It's a 27 to try and spot him.
Because let me see if I can do. Yeah, I do. Let's see if because I have the ability to quietly communicate if I can see him. So let's see. Yeah. Right. Give it a sec. See. Try it again.
Yeah. That's right. I'm back from vacation. Got to start working on that end of month target for narrative meta currency. So you can't see him. He's too good at his job.
Yeah.
It's about 7 minutes afterwards when you can feel your shadow has a sense of fear. Because you can only empathically communicate with it right now. Another 2 minutes before you can access its senses. What would you like to do?
So is this the kind of fear? So this is the fear for itself.
Uh-huh. If you were to guess, it's in danger.
I mean, I would have it retreat if if it thinks so. I don't have, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So,
if it can shadow step out of the,
Yeah, and it will kind of get back to you at the same time that Basil, you can see, finally is next to you once again. Basil, as far as you can tell, you successfully placed this clockwork spy. And you can see Golag, you would know the shadow is back because Golag's tattoos are black once again.
So, any luck, Basil?
Not really, but I mean, I placed the spy, but do you think that they're somehow connected? Like they share a mind or something?
Right. It at this point, it serves to reinforce that theory, no question. But the speed of which he was aware of our visit. I mean, either that or there's a clockwork already in there.
There's something you overheard that maybe is sticking. Golag, what did he tell Mary?
Didn't want any more visitors. That person was nobody. What else did I share with you, Basil? Anything?
The first one is the thing I think is of significance here.
He's not a visitor.
Well, she tried to stop him, and he ignored that and just barged by her. And you're specifically referring to something that he said to his wife, right?
No, he said to Mary. He said to Mary, no more visitors tonight, didn't he?
He did. No more visitors. Meaning he already had one? Or before us?
Well, no. if you're in his shoes and you tell your servant, no more visitors tonight, let no one else in.
Right, but then he forced his way. I mean, my understanding is...
So we're using the he. Let's use definite pronouns. Babwell told his servant, no more visitors tonight. And then what happened?
And then the servant, my understanding, tried to stop the erstwhile visitor, the subsequent visitor. Failed, and the visitor forced his physically way in past the servant. That's my understanding.
And then what did Saxon say? What did you overhear at first?
What did you tell them? You know, you shouldn't tell them anything.
And what did Babwell say? Before Saxon got a chance to start yelling at him.
I didn't expect to see you tonight, or something like that. He weren't expecting him. So if there's a connection, it's a one-way connection, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, Zane or Saxon can see what's happening or hear what's happening, but it doesn't go the other way, or else he'd have been expecting him.
Yeah, but if he can see what's happening, why should he have? What have you told him? I mean,
let's use definite pronouns so we don't get confused. When you say he, who do you mean?
So, if Zane asks Ransom, "What have you told them?" I mean, when Zane would know everything that Ransom knows, or listen in or something, he would know what Ransom had told us. I mean, nothing. So there is some kind of connection, but it is not like this sharing of like in a way it seems a little bit like Golek's connection. So he knows when there's trouble, maybe, but nothing more.
I mean, I would say it fits better since he doesn't know what actually happened in the location. It seems to fit better like that the more like we're being followed than he's being bugged. Meaning, so he knows we were there, just like Saxon knew that Dr. Ersprung was at the office of Babwell before. He didn't know what was going on there, but he knew he was there, and this fits that. He knew we were there. He didn't know what happened there. So it would seem that he can't share Babwell's senses. He doesn't have it bugged with a clockwork, or else he wouldn't have had to ask. So it's like he knows we're there, but he doesn't know what's happening in both locations, in both situations. Those two data points.
Maybe he can see but can't hear.
Something like that. That would be, yeah. That too. Either we're followed, or he can see and not hear. Something that fit. Both of those fit. Would seem to have happened in both. Like, you know, if he had a clockwork outside the door, you know, rather than inside the door.
It's just when I went to see them, no one was suspicious of us. No one was following us. No one was spying on us.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the seeing, not hearing would be more plausible out of the two options.
Than a tail. Than a yeah.
In my guess.
Yeah, and if he was, you know, these two locations are auspicious. You know, it's not a random cafe. It is Babwell's office. It is Babwell's home. And if he had them if he had a clockwork in either, surely he would have had audio. I mean, there'd be a likelihood of audio as well as visual. So it's unlikely to be a clockwork, I think, for all these reasons. It is something different than that, like a. But in any case, even if we don't know exactly what it is, and it'd be nice to know, the characteristic of it does seem to be seeing and not hearing somehow, or a tail that we're not aware of somehow, something like that. That at least we're dialing in on the characteristics of it, even if we don't know what it is. Is the clockwork, you think, Basil? Is it able to help us now, you think?
No, I can. It is like it records what is said, but it will sit there until I retrieve it.
I see.
So I can't get it to come back or something like that. It's
of course. Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah. But I think we will. Can't we wait? I mean, Saxon will leave at some point, I suppose.
Oh, am I able to ask the shadow what happened? Like, what was the cause of the fear? Am I able to?
Yeah, now that it's there too, Saxon spotted it.
Okay.
And was making his way towards it.
So Saxon arrived with a carriage, didn't he?
He did.
And this carriage is still in front of the house?
Yeah.
And does it have a driver, or is it one of these
it has a driver
ones?
But it's still waiting for him. It's about maybe half an hour before Saxon throws that door open again. You can hear bang against the limits of its hinges, and he makes his way back into the carriage, and the carriage heads off into the night. Do you wish to wait until morning to retrieve your... how long I can't remember. Is it an hour worth of conversation that it records, or...
Something like that, yeah. So I would just... I would try to sneak in if... I don't know, wait 5 minutes until when the carriage has left, and then after that
Sure.
I will try to sneak
Give us one
in.
more stealth check. Let's see if you can recover that without incident.
That is at least.
Do you have
my hope.
lockpicks on you, by the way?
Yes, I have.
Excellent.
But somehow I misplaced my character sheet somehow. But I have it here.
It succeeded in its stealth check.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a bad time for a natural one, so I will re-roll.
Sounds good.
26.
Nice. And just give us a disable device, or a thievery check. Disable device. Yeah. Go back about 2 editions, would you?
Yeah, no problem. 21.
No problem at
I
all.
don't know if that.
Yeah, no problem at all. You're able. What's happened is that they have locked they put their, knowing that there was a spy, they've closed the windows and whatnot and locked things. That is no barrier for you. You're able to get in, retrieve the thing, and then go back. What you can are you playing? I guess what are you guys doing next?
Yeah, I think we should try to listen in if possible, and then decide from that information what we're doing next.
Okay. So what you overhear, what the pertinent information that you get from your surveillance, and the key things that will point towards your next steps in the mysteries investigation will be revealed in 2 weeks' time.
So,
for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, let me move us back to the main screen here. All right. Then for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our part 5 of the Gaslight, Guile of the Gaslight Man. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign. We do have a Spires Paridar channel, as well as most of the games we run on the channel, most of the campaigns we run on the channel. There's also a ton of other channels like GM discussion or virtual tabletop chat or finding a group or, you know, just a general chat about games. There's a really great community that has built up over the years over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There is also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a great selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If you make if they don't have something in stock in their extensive collection, you can put it on a want list. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserMashup, all caps, all one word. It's in the description of the video, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. There is that code will be good until end of September 2024, at which point it'll change. So if you're listening to this at a later date, just come to one of our more recent videos and you'll get the current discount code there. There is also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in a bunch of crisis areas at present. You can learn all about that by following the link. Then any donations through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thank you, if you've donated $25 or more to the Heroes Save Villages campaign since January 1st, then we would invite you to come on over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server and cast your vote for the next of our charity sessions. We will be running 5 more charity sessions between now and the end of year, and each of them will be a mashup of a classic module with a role-playing game that it was not designed to be run with. So we currently have voting going on for the Expedition to the Barrier Peaks Classic module, and there are 4 games on offer for donors to vote for. We have at least 3 of them that have got votes so far. You can vote until August 11th for that, and then we'll be voting on the heroes that we'll be playing in that session, depending on what wins out. So again, if you donated $25 or more, not only will you be able to vote on that one, it'll be for the next 4 ones leading up to the end of year as well. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart illuminators. So, Darren, Ingolf, and Sean, thank you so much for joining me back in the streets of Paridar. It was great to get back to this mystery once again. So thank you very much for playing today. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, but until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our intrepid illuminators are uncovering. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.